Walker's level of Locked On Texas Tech. Let's play it at 10 a.m. local time. Look, if I'm a Utah fan and I see that we are going to play one of the biggest early games in the Big 12 at 10 a.m. local time. A night game would be fun if you put it at it would be 1:30 in the afternoon for them or 2:30 in the afternoon for them. That in itself, fine, cool. But sometimes things happen where it's like I resonate with the Utah fans that want to leave the Big 12. They feel slighted for some reason. This is one of those reasons. How do you build pomp and circumstance around the words 10 a.m.?
So when I saw this, I felt like I'd won the road game lottery a little bit. I loved it. I mean, I'll be on this trip as part of the Texas Tech radio broadcast, and I thought, man, I'll be home early. When you're the road team, you always want to just get up and go. Let's just go do this thing and everything. I do think this is going to be a big noon kickoff. I do think this is a good showcase for the league. It obviously is less than ideal for the Utah folks that it is so much earlier, but this is just the way that it works. And if they had another option, I'm sure that they would take it on conference affiliation, but everybody, there was basketball games played at 9:00 local time last year. There's some Friday night games that everybody's dealing with. This is just part of the deal. If you want that check, man, you're gonna have to deal with some of this stuff. But I empathize with them, but then again, I kind of don't. But I would say though that I'm thrilled for the league that they could have been in a lot of places, but you're going to get kind of showcased for a 6-hour window between the kickoff show and then straight into what we think will be a really, really good game. And it's unfortunate that it's a 10 a.m. local kick, but that's the reality of it. But this guy right here, I'm excited about it. I think I would give it 3 thumbs up if I had a third thumb.
Short answer here. What's the toughest night environment you've seen as a radio analyst?
BYU was stout. Kansas State stout. West Virginia's can be stout when they've got time to get sauced up.
So
but yes.
Let's take those into account. You are Baron Morton or anybody who's ever played college football at the Power 4 level.
Right.
And you are sitting around all day. You woke up at you could wake up at 11 if you wanted to and still be at the ballpark, but the game by 4 o'clock for when the buses pull up, or some of these BYU games at even, 5 o'clock local time when you're getting to the stadium. Then you walk in and it's deathly loud and you've spent all day thinking. This is going to be up at 5:30 at the stadium at 6 o'clock. Get ready to go. How big of an advantage? Because you've been in these atmospheres. You've seen these morning games or late games. How big of an advantage did this give Texas Tech?
It's just impossible to replicate the atmosphere in an early day game anywhere. I mean, compared to nighttime. And like, I'm sure, both, I know Texas Tech does. Texas Tech has several practices even during the season that are 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., things like that. Then they'll practice at 9 or 10 a.m., and on a couple of days throughout the week. And so all these players are used to getting up early, but it's the atmosphere and you just can't. And maybe the pregame show and some of that pomp and circumstance, maybe it's a one-off. And the stadium is full, and Coach Whittingham, please shout out from the top of that mountain, hey, man, we need you on this day. And maybe it'll be different, but typically speaking, it just doesn't have the same juice. It doesn't matter where you are, what program you are, coaching for or whatever. It doesn't typically have the same juice. So I do think it's an advantage. It may mean a little bit. It may mean a lot. I'm just not sure, because sometimes it takes the home team a little bit to get going. You come out flat. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I've seen it on both ends of this deal for years.
Is there a way Texas Tech can? Well, I mean, you're looking at earlier. The ESPN has 68% chance that Utah wins this game. Is there a way Texas Tech walks into Rice-Eccles Stadium and pulls it off? And is that helped again by this, possibly by this time?
Oh, I think you could walk into Bryce Eccles Stadium and thump Utah. Absolutely. Like
Stop it. Watch out now, thump.
Yeah, I'm just not. I guess I'm supposed to bow down to Utah and everything for all that they've done, but I mean, I know they'll be well coached. I know that this is supposedly some really good home environment. And I expect a very good game, but I also think Utah is getting a lot of credit already, and I'm not sure we've talked about this. Has anybody really done anything? And again, you gotta label somebody as getting credit here, but if we're basing it all on a UCLA, I will say this: UCLA will be the best team that either one of these teams has played before they play. That's a fair statement. But if we're judging,
it's not a very big statement, Chris.
Exactly, and we're going to say based off of that 70% chance or whatever it was that gives Utah the chance to win this. I mean, I don't know how some of these metrics are put together, but again, we'll all find out on the 20th, I guess. But I just I can't necessarily, because I think the same questions for you're asking me about the Red Raiders should be being asked of the Utes, and we just don't know. We can sit here and talk about all these names and the quarterback that you added and this and that, but I just don't ultimately think we don't know, because neither team has been hit in the mouth yet. Neither team. What does each team do when that happens? I think right now it's a shoulder shrug. Like I'm not real sure.
Yeah, at the very least. So have you seen a game in Salt Lake yet?
No, I mean, Texas Tech played basketball there, and our basketball team stayed half a mile away from the Bryce Eccles and all that. Now, I did stay in Salt Lake and then played at Utah, but no, I've not. I will tell you, Drake, I will tell you that after seeing some of these stadiums up close, I was expecting more infrastructure.
Oh my gosh, terrible infrastructure.
Yes, and I would say the settings for both of these stadiums in Utah are unbelievably, I mean, just incredible. But like, I'm talking about premium seating and press box and like brick and mortar around the stadium, that to where it's like, man, and it's just I don't know. I was left kind of going, okay. I mean,
yeah, not to make it a stadium pissing match here.
No, but, yeah, and I'm not trying to do that. I just
but so BYU, yes, I didn't. BYU has one of the more frustrating press box setups because the windows don't lift, so you can't get the full effect. Right. So I'll give you that. Rice Eccles, I've been for an afternoon game. I've been for a night game, and two very different things. Those are two very different opponents, by the way. But I went for the Holy War last year. It's deadly. Like seeing BYU kind of reminds me of a louder, which is weird because Gary Patterson will tell you that Oklahoma is the loudest stadium that he's played in. But I mean, my first trip to Gaylord Family, I was unimpressed. Again, infrastructure-wise, it's like this place is just a brick nothing. It's just a bunch of concrete and needs a revamp. And then that there's obviously Lavelle Edwards just gets as loud as possible. There is something about Rice Eccles. There's something about it at night that's different that cannot be replicated. And I think that Texas Tech ultimately does have the advantage here in a game where two teams are squaring up. It will feel more like a neutral site game than it would at night, given Utah fans know how to pregame. They're great at the tailgate thing. Very hard to tailgate when you're starting at 6 a.m. That's not a knock on Utah fans. It's a knock on Fox and you having to play at 10 a.m. local time. Chris Level, where can more folks find your work before that big matchup that's now 2 weeks away?
Well, yeah, locked on Texas Tech, Casey Cowan and I, Monday through Friday, and obviously our man Drake. Sometimes we join on a Thursday afternoon with the squad show activity. Everybody's schedules are crazy. Both of our schedules are crazy, so we try to do the best we can this time of year. But yeah, appreciate you chopping it up with me. And I'm embarrassed to tell the Ute fans that I kept, for whatever stupid reason, I was putting a B on the front of Rice Eccles. I was like wanting to call it Bryce Eccles. So yeah, oops, because I drove by it six times at least when we were up there for basketball. So and seriously, beautiful campus. So glad that everybody's that they're a part of this league. I don't know if they're happy with it or not, but I don't feel sorry for you for an early kick. Sorry.
Heck yeah. Check your boxes there, Chris. Way to appease the opposing fan base before they throw things at you on the sideline.
Yeah, I got you.
Cheerleader last season. This has been and always will be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. It's a crossover with Texas Tech and Dos Grande.